Hey there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Legends and Loggers. My name is Zac Wohlstein, and I am an outdoor television producer. I'm joined by my co-host and brother,
Parker Wohlstein, and I'm a forester and a wildlife biologist. Today we're going to be talking about a pretty popular legend, especially within like the central slash southern Appalachian region and the southern United States, the Wampus Cat. This feline adjacent creature has a very rich oral tradition within the South, but it's pretty lacking in written documentation. But thankfully, we still have some stories and encounters to get into. But before we get into all that, Zach, what you drinking?
So I know the last couple of times I've had a hard time keeping it like on brand, right? But this one, I think I hit the nail on the head. Okay, it is the Iron Maiden Brewdog Hellcat.
Ah, nice.
Yeah,
That actually works out.
yeah. It's better than the green tea I had last time we filmed.
Kevin actually messaged me and said that's his favorite type of beer.
The green tea.
The whatever.
Oh,
no, the something
Berliner
Weiss.
Weiss.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, he said that was his favorite. I've got Great Raft Southern Drawl.
Ooh.
Where are they out of? I think they're out of Shreveport. This is a dry hopped pilsner, so should be pretty chill. Pretty much just your typical beer.
I actually don't know where this one's from.
It's made with Louisiana rice. And it's got a banjo on it.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
here we go. It's a Columbus, Ohio. And
No, it's made in Britain because it's Iron Maiden.
oh yes. And it's an IPA because of course it is. But it is the result of a complex yet balanced, refreshing golden beer brewed in USA.
I've had their the Trooper one.
Oh really?
But I haven't had that one.
Well,
Trooper's good.
Let's find out how it is.
Crack 'em.
Cracking and racket. I mean, I like it better than the IPA. Not IPA. I like it better than the green tea thing, but it is still very much an IPA.
It's pretty good. Pretty good. There's a flavor to it that I can't put it on my head right now, on the tip of my tongue. What's even the phrase? I'm losing it. It's not like your typical light beer or anything, but it's like just a nice, kind of good mid-range pilsner.
I like
Good job.
Pilsners are
Great.
good.
Great raft. Good stuff.
If you're into IPAs, I'm sure you'd like this. If you're not, it's not great.
Oh wait, that's an IPA.
Yeah. It says
Huh.
Cold Indian Pale Ale.
I remember whenever I was first kind of getting into craft beers, that tricked me because I was like, man, I hate IPAs. And I started looking at stuff, and I was like, ooh, a pale ale. Because, like, there's that Alaskan brewing company, like Alaskan Amber Ale. And I was like, this is one of my favorites of all time. Like, if I like an amber, I'll probably like a pale, and just totally got duped.
Nope.
And then I was like, wait, Indian Pale Ale.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I had no clue for the longest time. Oh, well. So, the Wampus Cat is a very large panther-like creature that roams Appalachia and the southern United States. In many stories, the Wampus Cat is half cat, but is also half female human.
What?
It has bright, glowing orange or yellow eyes that can potentially hypnotize its victims into paralysis. And some descriptions say the Wampus Cat looks like a mountain lion, but with 6 legs. And then one witness quoted and said this: it had 6 legs, 4 for running, and 2 for fighting.
Oh, nice. Wampus Cat's rad.
Which is an excellent description.
Yeah.
And then, because of its half-human nature, supposedly, it can stand, walk, and run comfortably on either four limbs or just on its hind legs, which is basically like a Khajiit from Skyrim.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Like half cat, half human looking thing.
Or a centaur if it's got truly 6 legs.
Yeah. None of the descriptions where it had 6 legs, they never walked on their hind limbs in those ones. So
God, that'd be silly looking.
Maybe just the more normal Wampus Cat. Because the 6 legs, like, that's just like one version. There's a lot of versions.
There's one person that was like a little too drunk whenever they saw it.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the South, they like their what is it? I was about to say lamentations.
Clementines? What are you trying to say right now?
They like libations.
Oh,
libations. I was thinking of Lamentations, like the book of the Bible where the guy's just sad the whole time.
Yeah. I was thinking of laminating. You know,
that too.
Where you preserve documents. The South is really well known for it.
Yeah, it's our specialty. So overall, the Wampus Cat is a big cat with supernatural qualities running around where big cats ain't generally supposed to live anymore. You know, there used to be like the eastern cougar, eastern mountain lion, and a lot of this range, but that's pretty much gotten all wiped out except the Florida panther. There's not really like established populations. I mean, you'll get one that'll like come through every once in a while, but it's pretty rare, and we'll get into that later on in the episode. Then, just fun fact, the name Wampus Cat comes from one of my favorite words in the English language, which is cattywampus. Which, if you don't know what cattywampus means, it means that something ain't right.
Yeah, out of sorts, if you will.
Yeah.
That's a cool like, fact, though. Wampus Cat, flip it, cattywampus.
Cattywampus, yeah. Basically, it's like, something ain't right with that cat.
Yeah. That cat's all sorts of cattywampus.
You can call anything cattywampus. It could be a shed. It could be, you know, your grandmother. Don't really matter. Not saying ours.
Yeah, right.
we love our grandmother.
Your grandmother is awful cattywampus.
No, I would never say that.
Usually I use cattywampus in terms of like if something is like off kilter.
Yeah.
Like if I'm say I'm building a table and one of the legs is too short, I'm like, well, shoot, this is all cattywampus.
I'll say cattywampus or side-goggling.
Or juxtaposed. No, that's not it. Yeah.
Is that comparing two things?
That is comparing, yeah. There's another one, though.
No, you need to throw in side-goggling to your vocabulary.
Is that not is that not a slur?
It's a slur for goblins.
Yeah. That's
side-goggling. All right, so there's a couple origin stories for the Wampus Cat. There's not really any specific dates that go along with them on when they came around. And this first two come out of Cherokee lore, which, if you haven't noticed by now within our catalog, especially whenever I talk about Cherokee stuff, like, there's one, I feel bad for Cherokees because, like, everybody that 1000% doesn't have any native blood in them is like, well, my family is 164 Cherokee. Yeah. You know, like, everybody does that. And then basically same thing for anything that they want to be a cryptid. They're like, oh, well, in this Cherokee had a story folklore. About it. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure this one, there's like no records of this whatsoever. Which, like, this story would, like, the Wampus Cat came out after, like, that one guy went and spent his time with him. So, like, you'd think that he would probably have gotten it, you know?
If that was actually part of their lore and whatnot, yeah.
Yeah, or any of the characters in this, but nope. So, anyway, This is the first version of the Cherokee origin of the Wampus Cat. An evil demon named Iwa, the spirit of madness, had been terrorizing the village of Itowa, or Chota, depending on the version you hear, in what is today North Carolina. The village shamans and the war chiefs called for a meeting. The wise shamans told the war chiefs that sending the braves to hunt and kill Iwa was surely going to be the end of the tribe. For the Iwa had terrible power to drive men mad with a glance. The war chiefs argued that the Iwa could no longer feast on the dreams of Cherokee children and that something must be done. Wait, why do they want to kill him? What thing's kind of funny about that is why must they do something if the Iwa can never, like, no longer feast on the dreams of children? Isn't that like kind of problem solved?
They're like, God dang it. These kids are
Like,
sleeping okay. They're having a good time. We
Yeah,
gotta
like
do
why are they choosing now to go after him? Why not whenever he was terrorizing people?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, together they agreed that their strongest brave would go alone and bring great honor to his family and tribe by killing the mad demon. Standing Bear, or Great Fellow, depending on the story version, was the strongest,
Great Fellow?
fastest. Yeah,
Can that be my name,
great
dude?
fella. Sure,
Hey, nice to meet you. I'm Great Fellow.
That reminds me of something, but man, I'm just all sorts of fuzzy today.
Is it?
Oh, good one.
Does it remind you of Runs with Squirrels?
No, something like early 1900s.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's just he's a great fellow.
A good chap, a great fellow.
Yeah, basically. Anyway, he was the strongest, fastest, sneakiest, and smartest and most respected brave in all of the Cherokee Nation. And he was chosen to do battle with the demon. I love that all these old stories always say, do battle.
Yeah, right. It sounds rad.
As he walked from his village, the shamans blessed him, and the war chiefs gave him many fine weapons with which to slay the beast. And on the edge of town, his wife, Running Deer, bid him a final farewell. She would never see him the same way again. Ooh.
He gonna become a cat.
I will see. Weeks went by, and there's no word from Standing Bear. Suddenly, late one night, the stricken brave had come running back into camp, screaming and clawing at his eyes. One look, and Running Deer knew her husband was no more. With time, he would be able to pick berries and work in the fields with the young girls and the unmarried widows, but he would never be any good as a husband again.
Oof.
And by Cherokee law, that meant he was dead.
What?
Yikes.
He's alive though, right? He's fine, or just not fine in his
Yeah.
eyes, but like he can still talk and do stuff. But they're like, he's dead.
I guess. I think it's basically like he can't do the man work anymore, so he's basically useless.
Wow.
I mean, because he's doing the same stuff as like everybody's like female children, just like out there picking berries and stuff. So they basically just count him as dead.
Shoot.
And then Standing Bear's name was never mentioned again, but Running Deer had loved her husband and she wanted revenge. Running Deer went to the shamans and they gave her a booger mask or a booger mask. I'm not sure which it is. No, don't do that. Okay, so I'm going to call him booger so that it doesn't sound like I'm just calling it a straight up booger mask.
They said,
you know.
Oh, I almost said an X and I stopped myself. But they said, like, you must wait. We're going to prepare you a mask. And they start just picking their nose and like putting it together.
Yeah, it's not that. It's basically like during certain times, they'd wear these specific masks of like showing stuff. A lot of the times it'd be like a deity. And then, so the settlers called them boogers, which is derivative of like Old English bugger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so definitely not the Cherokee's name for it,
Okay.
but a booger mask. And this one specifically happened to be a bobcat's face.
Ah.
And they told her that the spirit of the mountain cat can stand against Iwa, but she must be the only one to surprise the demon. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
The war chiefs gave her a special black paste, which, when rubbed upon her body, would hide her scent as well as her body. She kissed her former husband on the forehead, his blank eyes staring, and headed off to seek her revenge.
Former husband. Jeez. Don't become a cripple in an Indian village, I guess.
Dude, it was the law.
Yeah, okay.
You can't knock her for following the law.
That's true. Different cultures.
Yeah. Respect. So Running Deer knew the woods as well as she knew the village, and she ate sweet berries to keep up her strength over the many days, but she still came across no sign of the Iwa. Then, late one night, she heard a creature stalking down by the stream. As she crept slowly towards the creek, she heard a twig snap behind her. She spun and just as suddenly realized how quickly it could have been the end of her. Behind her, a wily fox darted across the pathway. If that had been Iwa, I would be mad by now, the widowed Cherokee woman thought to herself as she continued towards the creek.
But seeing as it was not Iwa, I am in fact not mad right now.
Yeah, I am chill. I have no anger in me, so let's keep on walking down this creek.
I am neutral at the moment.
I'm determined. At the edge of the creek, she saw footprints which did not belong there. Ooh. And her former husband's breastplate lay at the edge of the water. As she followed the prints upstream, she saw the demon. Its hulking form lurched hideously over the water, drinking from the pristine mountain spring. The Iwa had not seen her. Running Deer crept even closer, and just as she felt she could bring herself no closer, she sprang. Sprang like a cat.
Wow. Like
the
a Wampus Cat.
Well, we're getting there. We're getting there. The Iwa spun and saw the cat's spirit mask and began to tear at itself as the spirit of the mountain cat turned its powerful magic back on itself. The Iwa tumbled backwards into the pool, and Running Deer immediately turned on her heel and ran as fast as she could back to the village, never once looking back. When she arrived home, she sang a song to herself, a quiet song of grief for her husband, but also of joy for the demon's banishment. The shamans and war chiefs declared Running Deer the spirit talker and home protector. Some say that the spirit of Running Deer inhabits the Wampus Cat, and that she continues her eternal mission of watching her tribe's lands to protect them and their peoples from demons that hide in the dark and lost places.
Oh, so Wampus Cat's a friendly person cat thing.
Yeah.
It's a hero.
Also, I like that, I guess, so the way that she banished this thing or killed it...
She surprised it, that's it, right?
Well, the shamans told her that the spirit of the mountain cat is could stand against it, but she had to surprise it. So I guess
like all she did is she snuck up, she got peekaboo, and then she darted on out of there.
Yeah, I guess this demon is just terrified of the mountain cat spirit, or something.
Yeah,
we get no context of that. Don't know why.
Yeah.
And then it just starts tearing itself apart. That's a pretty bad demon.
Ah, you surprised me. It started ripping itself to shreds.
That'd be wild if like humans did that.
Yeah.
Like, just jump out from around the corner. And they're just, oh my gosh, you got me! And they
clawing at themselves.
Tearing themselves. Oh, yeah.
That seems like
kind of a
pretty silly story.
Yeah, but it's got a happy ending, you know?
Yeah.
Her husband's alive but dead. Now she's a home protector.
Yeah, alive but not dead, but banished.
She could definitely still, have him as her husband.
Yeah, from what I gather, like he's still functioning. He can do stuff. He just can't see. Therefore, he's useless. That's not my opinion. That apparently like that's in the rules of the Cherokee. Just want to get that
I imagine
clarification
she's
out
like
there.
she's singing this song. She's like, "Oh, my husband's dead," and he's
She's
just
like,
like,
I'm not. I'm not.
"I'm not." He's
Baby,
putting
I'm
berries.
here.
He's putting berries in his little woven basket. He's
Yeah.
like, "What's that, honey?" "Oh, I'm not dead. My husband is so dead. He's been dead for a long
Yeah. Where's he?
time."
I might plug into the episode for a brief moment. There's like a Whitest Kids You Know sketch where he's like talking about his kids get in trouble, and he's like, I don't believe in you. I don't believe in you, and the kids just disappear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so well, at least that one's got a happy ending. If that one's true, then the Wampus Cat is a good thing if you see it. It's just protecting you.
Well, it's good if you're, a Cherokee or a Native American, but like, I imagine the white man is also a bit of a demon in their eyes.
Yeah. Okay, yep. So the Wampus Cat is always scary.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so the second Cherokee, air quotes, legend.
Possibly Cherokee legend.
Yeah, it goes as such. The Wampus Cat was once a beautiful woman. Her husband would often leave the village to go hunting for food with the other men in the tribe. The men would conduct sacred rituals before the hunt, asking forgiveness from the animals that they would give their lives to feed the villagers. The woman was very curious and wanted to witness these rites and magics for herself. However, their custom forbade women from taking part in rituals. One night, however, curiosity got the best of her, and she secretly followed her husband and his group of hunters into the forest, wrapped in a cougar's skin to camouflage herself.
That sounds like a terrible idea, dude.
Yeah, that sounds like a bad idea to camo yourself as a
dangerous predator, like one that they would likely want to shoot if they saw it.
Yeah, to go after a group of hunters.
Yeah.
Smart move, beautiful woman. She came to a clearing in the forest where the men had gathered. Hiding behind a rock, she finally bore witness to the ritual she sought so long to see. She crept closer and closer, wanting more detail, but the medicine man leading the ritual spotted her. The hunters then pulled her into the circle, and the medicine man placed a curse upon her. This magic bound the cougar skin she was wearing into her own, and her body changed into some kind of human-cougar hybrid beast. That is a tough thing to say.
Dude, that sounds like something out of like an anime, like.
I wouldn't know.
Like
not a weeb.
I also don't watch anime, but you still though it sounds like something you'd see in Power Rangers, like form of a human cougar hybrid beast. And then it becomes
yeah, it does sound like that.
Yeah.
It helps with the voice.
Yeah.
And then this curse doomed her to roam the Appalachian mountains and valleys forever alone.
Aww.
As the story goes, whenever you hear a lonely scream at night, whether something is missing or destroyed from houses in the hills, the mountain people know that the Wampus Cat is on the prowl, angered at her eternal sentence of solitude, never able to rejoin the human race.
Bro, these freaking Cherokees have the worst punishments.
Yeah, these guys are crazy.
Oh
If these are true.
It sounds like you weren't supposed to sneak out. I gotta be a cat for eternity. Like that's.
It's like, couldn't you have just flogged me?
Yeah.
What's happening here?
Maybe take my rations of the food for a couple of days or something. But
yeah, put me on dish duty for a couple months.
Yeah.
Or diaper duty.
Crap.
Cleaning the sweat lodge.
Don't make me some sort of unholy beast for the rest of eternity. That's insane.
Yeah, that's a mean medicine man.
Yeah.
I thought they were supposed to be.
Imagine what he does to people that he actually is really upset with, Like he's just minorly upset with this girl. It's like, hey, you weren't supposed to follow us. Cat forever. Like imagine there's somebody steals something from him, turns him into a worm and then splits him open once a year or something. I don't know.
So there are more worms, but they just keep on feeling the pain.
Yeah.
Don't worms regen?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. But yeah, it turns him into a worm, just cut, and then it makes two worms, and then he cuts those ones.
Yeah.
But all of them have the same hive mind.
You know what?
and it
You know,
hurts
that
all of
shaman's
them.
a psychopath, dude.
Yeah, that's a crazy dude. But if I was one of those hunters, I probably would have like grabbed the chicken and be like, "Get out of here," and like tossed her into the woods again. You know, I wouldn't have like dragged her by the hair into the center of the pit and be like, "Make her a cat, make her a cat."
It's like, you don't realize how bad you just messed up. You need to get out of here.
That also lends the question: if she happened to be wearing a coat of rat skins, would she turn into a rat or multiple?
Oh. So,
You know?
or is it like this rat human hybrid? It's like Splinter. From
So does Master Splinter.
Yeah. It's like Splinter from the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles walking around.
And then she'd have
like,
to
what
move
it's all
to
the
New
humans.
York. She'd have to move up to New York City, find 4 teenage mutant ninja turtles.
Yeah, this isn't the Wampus
And
Cat
raise
origin
them.
story. This is actually the Splinter origin story.
I wish.
Oh gosh.
Has to deal with the Foot Clan.
Yeah.
So those are the Cherokee legends.
Oh my god. And the shaman's name was actually Shredder.
Ah. All right. I'd watch that movie.
Yeah.
If Marvel's going to do all these origin stories, they might as well throw in Splinter.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. Because they've remade TMNT like 1,000 times. So
Yeah.
why not give us Splinter origin?
Yeah.
You know? Crazy. So those are the Cherokee legends, but Cherokee air quotes. But then as the settlers came into the area, a new origin story for the Wampus Cat came around. And it goes as such. Pranked. I don't have
What a riveting story. Oh my god.
farts and mic.
The roll credits.
All right, so long ago, there's an old woman who lived by herself in the hills of West Virginia. There's a lot of those. The people in a nearby town swore that she was a witch. There's a lot of those. Locals would complain of someone having hexing and stealing their livestock. Everyone's suspicions fell on the elderly woman. I don't know why, it just made me laugh. Like,
I imagine she's like decrepit, like can barely do anything. She's like, what? I didn't do that.
He's like, my prize bull is gone. Somebody let it out of my pasture. Well, that's too bad. It was you.
You witch.
I was gonna make a quick little jab about Monty Python. She's a witch, but then I decided to be stupid and forget all the quotes from that entire scene. So we're gonna skip over that. So everyone's suspicions fell on the elderly woman, who they believed that had the ability to shapeshift into a large cat with golden eyes. They blamed her because she was. They blamed her because she chose to live like a hermit.
Turns out she's just poor. That's like.
I like that they didn't blame her because, you know, like, oh, she had like a crystal ball in her house.
Or she was really mean to people, like malicious or something.
Yeah, they're like, look at her. She lives like a hermit.
Clearly, witch.
Despite this, the witch was supposedly so skilled at making these thefts that she was never actually caught. At least that was their explanation.
Yep.
So this old woman was definitely not doing anything.
Yeah.
They didn't catch her because she was not doing anything. The townspeople believed that the old woman would take the form of a domestic house cat and would dart into a house when she had the opportunity, where she would wait for nightfall and for her victims to fall asleep. At this point, she would cast a sleeping spell on the unsuspecting family, ensuring that they wouldn't awaken while she went about her business. Then she would slip out a window and steal an animal. The locals were growing tired of finding their animals missing or dead, so they developed a plan to put an end to the witch's depredations. The old woman's next night of thievery would indeed be her last.
They shot her.
They took her to the back and they said, first they broke her leg so that they had an excuse, and then they shot her. Sorry, old girl.
You clearly won't be winning any races.
Old witchy. One night, the old witch snuck into a house, and once the family was asleep, she cast her spell of deep sleep on the family. Also, I like how it's like they were never able to catch her. By the way, this is exactly what she did.
Yeah.
You know?
You see, she slipped out.
Cast her spell of deep sleep on the family. Taking the form of a mountain lion, she leaped from a window and headed straight for the barn where the animals rested. Once she was there, she started reciting the incantations necessary to resume her human form. Suddenly, several of the townspeople... True, I guess would have been like... It would have been really odd. Suddenly, several of the townspeople jumped out of hiding, taking the witch completely by surprise. The old woman was unable to complete the spell, leaving her half woman and half mountain lion. She was thus cursed to remain a hideous monster and would never again be able to call herself human. The cat creature screamed in fright and proceeded to break down the barn doors, and she fled into the night. She was never seen by the townspeople again.
Huh. So I always thought of the Wampus Cat as being just like a weird monstrous cat type thing, like a particularly large cat, but
Yeah.
almost like, bigger than a mountain lion type cat. This sounds more like some sort of mer person, but a cat, like like a mermaid cat,
Just say cat person.
No, but I want to get
a cat person likes cats.
Yeah, because I want to get across the point.
A person
like,
cat.
It sounds like halfway through, like waist down is person, but the waist up is cat, or vice versa.
No, it's like intermixed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that makes more sense.
No.
I
Yeah,
love
it's not
the
like
idea
a centaur.
of like this, like a little like cat legs carrying this whole person.
That'd be an odd sight to see.
That makes more sense though. Okay, like has, I don't know, claws and whatnot. That's actually that'd be a pretty creepy looking creature. It's like Scooby-Doo's on the Island type stuff.
Yeah, in the stories, like most of the sightings, all it is like they see a big cat. If they actually do see something, if it's not just like a trick of the mind. But yeah, the more fun ones are the ones where like they're just looking at it, and then like next thing you know, it stands up on two legs and like da 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 da, and they're like, "What?"
Then it waddled away.
Have you ever seen the video of like the dog? It's like some sort of spaniel or hunting dog, and it comes down the stairs and then just like pops up and starts walking off.
I like that one. I like the dog that kind of like shuffles across.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That guy.
It's one of the scariest videos, actually.
All right, so for our first story, we got pretty popular one whenever it comes to Wampus Cat stories.
Also, notice how this has all been like West Virginia, We got like Mothman, Jersey... Nope, not Jersey Devil.
Congrats, you're stupid.
Yeah. All right, we got Mothman,
Good job.
Wampus Cat, and I guess that's it, but still. Is there anything else in West Virginia so far? I don't think so, actually.
Flatwoods.
Yeah, but we haven't covered the Flatwoods Monster yet.
Flatwoods is like, I think it's confusing because there's like an area of Kentucky also called Flatwoods, but then like 25 miles across the border, or like from that Flatwoods is like West Virginia Flatwoods.
So it's not the same Flatwoods.
Yeah, I can never remember which it is. Kevin's probably going to get on me for that. He likes the Flatwoods Monster. Anyway, there's a hunter and a mountain man named Jinx Johnston, who... Jim Johnson of the Jim Johansson's movies. Okay.
James Johnson.
Jack Jimson's memory system. There was a Man, that's so
That,
classic.
that's like a deep cut, I bet. I don't know if like that's a well-known video or not, but
I don't think so.
that video is comedy though.
There was a hunter and a mountain man named Jinx Johnston who lived on the Virginia-West Virginia border in the early eight. I messed up because I got hung up where I put bored. And I also and I almost laughed at Jinx Johnston again. What's funny is because in some of the stories they call him Jinx Johnson, and then I think one is like Jim Johnston. So it's literally like the memory system. Dude, you're so stupid. Why does this keep on getting me? Why does this?
All right, just for those listening, or I guess this won't be in the video either, but I just keep changing Parker's notes to be different words that are close but not quiet.
He put burned.
The script is supposed to say he was born in the early 1800s or 1900s, but I put born.
He lived on the Virginia-West Virginia barn in the early 1900s. Oh my gosh.
Oh, God.
Please don't do it again. Oh, God. Oh man, I almost threw up. Okay. Jeez, that's gonna get me every time. I saw your cursor move, and I thought you went down to where it said drip saliva, and I thought that you wrote in drip saliva. And I realized that I had wrote that in. Okay. My brain's all fuzzy.
Yeah, sorry.
I can't breathe.
I'm gonna move my cursor to where it's out of the way.
Okay. There was a hunter and a mountain man named James Johnston.
Oh,
dude, we're never getting this done.
Oh, God. Whew.
Okay.
It's up for real.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. There was a hunter and a mountain man named Jinx Johnston who lived on the Virginia-West Virginia border in the early 1900s. This guy was supposedly over 6 foot tall, muscular, and not easily spooked, but he definitely got spooked whenever he encountered a Wampus Cat. On that particular night, when the sky was lit by the rays of a full moon, Johnston was out hunting when his dog suddenly ran ahead of him. He called for them, but they failed to return to his side. Johnston suddenly tripped over something, and his rifle flew out of his hands into the bushes. And then an awful smell hit him, which he described as smelling like a skunk and a wet dog. Yuck. But as he looked up from the ground, he saw it, a horrifying monster with sharp fangs that dripped saliva and eerie eyes that glowed yellow in the darkness. Picking himself up very slowly, Johnston quickly glanced around for his rifle, but he couldn't find it in the dark. The creature let out a terrifying, ear-splitting howl, and Johnston nearly leapt out of his skin. He slowly backed away from the creature. Deciding that it was either now or never, Johnston quickly turned around and ran for his life. He recalled that even though he was running as fast as his legs could carry him, he could feel that thing's stinking breath on the back of his neck, so close that the beach was catching him. But against all odds, Johnston finally made it home. He flew through the front door and slammed it shut behind him. Then he bolted the door shut. Jinx quickly grabbed his Bible and began to read through the scriptures aloud. A Upon hearing the holy words, the monster began howling and screaming terribly. This continued throughout the night. When dawn finally broke over the hills, the creature let loose one more horrible scream and fled into the woods. By this time, Johnston was convinced that the thing he had encountered truly was the Wampus Cat. When he had finally worked up enough courage, Jinx went back outside and found his dogs huddled up in the barn, terrified but otherwise unharmed. Needless to say, Johnston never went coon hunting at night after this horrifying encounter with the Wampus Cat.
Well, that is a pretty freaking scary encounter.
It sounds like a terrible time.
Yeah.
He was out there coon hunting, having fun, and next thing you know, you're seeing this. I mean, his description sounded
Freaking
scarier
scary.
than just seeing like a mountain lion or something.
Yeah, or that, like, you know, half lady, half cat creature thing. But
Yeah, this guy was just like straight up saying there's a monster.
yeah, a monster, and also
Not-
it was
not
outside
like-
of his door the whole night, dude. That's freaking terrifying.
Yeah, saw in like mainly this one, but maybe another story or two. Supposedly reading the Bible, the Wampus Cat like hates, and if you're doing that, then it like won't attack you.
Ah,
But I guess it won't. It'll still stay around your house.
yeah.
You know, it didn't like it didn't make it leave.
It won't actively kill you, but it won't go away.
I mean, that's better than nothing, I guess.
Yeah.
You gotta take what you can get when it comes to the old Wampy.
Well, you know what? One thing it also reminds me of, it almost sounds werewolf-esque, you know? And its
Yeah.
description and whatnot.
A little bit.
Or I guess if you want to go with
Also-
the cryptid version of werewolf, Dogman. I think that's what they call it.
Yeah. He doesn't mention anything
Specifically
like
cat.
this. Yeah, this is supposedly like one of the most popular Wampus Cat stories, but
Yeah.
it has nothing to
Yeah.
do with the description of a Wampus
Yeah, he
Cat.
says sharp
Nobody else
fangs,
said
dripping
that it
saliva,
smells.
yellow eyes, but also I'm pretty sure both those descriptions have been used for Dogman as well. Lit by the rays of a full moon, bro. Oh shoot.
Jim Johansson is lying to us, and it was actually just a dog man.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
And dogs notoriously hate the Bible, so therefore.
Next up, we have a random kind of anonymous encounter with the Wampus Cat. I think this was on an internet forum. I tried to find a date for it, but could not. A camper was camping.
Cool. One thing I wanted to add about like these type of encounters though, or like these type of stories. To me, these are almost like the most credible, or like the ones that I like the most, where it's just like the random one off of an internet forum, as opposed to like the popular ones, you know.
Basically, the story goes, there's a guy that was camping with his friends in the Blue Ridge Mountains in Virginia. While out gathering firewood, he nearly jumped out of his skin when one of the men screamed. The eyewitness reported that he saw a thing, definitely not a primate, no Bigfoot or anything, and not a bear. He claimed that the creature was holding his friend with a single hand,
Wow.
and described the beast as being a walking cat, about 5 foot tall and thick. When he shined his flashlight on the thing, the cat creature hissed and ran away on 2 legs. The monster's former victim had a small set of 5 puncture marks,
What?
presumably bite wounds, on one of his arms, and there were deep scratches on the victim's head.
Wow.
The eyewitness says that the wounded man, quote, maintained that the thing was not trying to kiss him on the neck. In the end, the eyewitness said himself, I swear we were almost kissed by a walking cat. Oh yeah, that's Blue Ridge right there.
Yeah. Okay. Let me change this back to what it originally was.
What?
You just read it like it made sense.
You are a crafty son of a gun.
Yeah. I swear
Just
that creature, he was trying to kiss me out on the neck.
Dude, Blue Ridge, Virginia, there's no telling I would have fully believed that that's what he
Yeah,
said.
I know. You read it like that was actually it. All right. There, you can redo it. It's correct now.
The witness says that the wounded man, quote, maintained that the thing was trying to bite his throat. In the end, the eyewitness himself said, I swear, we were almost killed by a walking cat.
Well, that's a pretty
That's,
gnarly encounter, dude.
yeah, that story is terrifying.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, it's definitely not a primate. And they're like, we know what Bigfoot is. It wasn't Bigfoot. They're like, it was a
Yeah.
friggin' cat that was 5 foot tall. And also, if the cat's only 5 foot tall, how is it holding his friend with one
And
hand?
his friend's 4 feet tall.
I guess it could have like grabbed his chest or something and like lifted him up.
No,
you know?
he's a little friend.
No,
Okay.
he's a normal guy.
But
Little friends don't camp.
that like, but I like how this one has like the injuries on it as well. You know,
Yeah, yeah, he's got
But
evidence.
holding him up with a single hand. That's wild, dude.
That's got to be a pretty strong walking cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got after him. Oh, right. So then, next up, there in the 1950s, there was a sighting of what may or may not have been a Wampus Cat in Johnson City, Tennessee. It was originally recorded by the author Charles Edwin Price in his book Demon in the Woods, Tall Tales and True from East Tennessee.
That's a bad title.
As told by him, yeah, it is pretty garbage. As told by a man who calls himself H.W., the son of the man who originally saw the creature.
Okay.
H.W.'s father, who was a carpenter by trade, was walking down Spring Street late one night when he came across a huge cat, the biggest he had ever seen. The cat was walking down the other side of the street as if, quote, it had all the time in the world.
You know, it got that stray cat strut going on.
Yeah, it's just strutting down the street.
Yeah.
As he was walking behind the beast, it didn't see him. According to the witness, the cat was about the size of a large spaniel. The man actually thought it was a dog at first, but then he noticed that the creature had stripes, just like a big tabby cat. And then things started to get strange.
Also, so far, a large spaniel, like, that's not that big.
Yeah, that's big for a cat.
Big for a cat, yeah, but like, I wouldn't even write home about that if I saw that.
Right now, it just kind of sounds like a bobcat,
Yeah.
you know?
It was a cool encounter, don't get me wrong, but like, I want to be like, holy crap, I saw something crazy.
But things are getting strange. Every once in a while, the cat stopped to sniff the side of the building it was walking next to. When it reached the Jones Vance pharmacy, the creature rose up on its hind legs, put its paws on the windowsill, and looked in through the window.
Oh, window stuff.
This behavior stopped the man in his tracks. He said that the cat, quote, must have been at least 4 foot tall when it stood on its hind legs, and tried to convince himself that he must have been seeing a tiger. But there was one problem. There was no circus in town at this time. Also,
I'm
like,
gonna use that as a line, dude.
also, if you have a normal sized cat,
Yeah.
if it like puts its paws on something,
They're tall, dude.
it's gonna be like 4 foot.
Yeah, no, I'm about to go measure Cairo the cat right quick, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty close to 4 feet tall, like whenever he's fully sprawled out.
Yeah, I'm like, did this guy see the circus
Yeah.
last time he was in town? Does he know how big a tiger is?
I like, yeah, tigers are so much bigger than that, dude. But I like how he says, like, he tried to convince himself there's a tiger, but there's no circus in town. Like, that sounds like a cool, like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, buddy, but there's no circus in town. Like, I want to use it as like a one-liner.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah, exactly.
Then came the really scary part, HW said. After the cat had seen all it wanted to inside the Jones Vance, it turned and, still standing on its hind legs, continued walking down the street and disappeared around the corner. The eyewitness said that his blood ran cold. Nobody can say for sure what the big cat had wanted that night, and HW's father never found out. When he went to look around the corner of Spring and Main, the beast had disappeared. So with this one,
That one sounds like he saw a
like,
particularly large alley cat.
yeah. Like if it had just propped itself on the window, like a cat can get on its hind legs to put its front paws on something, but it just like it got done looking and then it just went whoop, and it kept on walking, on its hind legs. That's pretty weird.
The hind legs, continuing to go on its hind legs part, that is pretty weird. But the rest of it though just sounds like normal cat behavior there through and through.
Yeah. Yeah, curious, props itself up there to look at something, gets
has
bored
a strut down the street and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty uneventful besides the fact that a cat was just walking on its hind legs.
Mm.
So then we got two kind of just random little stories here.
All right.
A man by the name of Tim Smith and his wife were strolling down the street in downtown Albington one night when he spotted something strange. He distinctly saw two eyes glaring at him through the iron steps, and he could clearly see that they weren't human. Instead, they were more like the piercing eyes of a big cat. Tim shouted at the beast and received the threatening hiss of a cat in reply. Wow. Then, whatever had been hiding under those steps got up and ran away, quickly fading into the darkness. Both Tim and his wife agreed that what they saw looked more or less like a big cat running on its hind legs.
Wow, so I didn't realize that the Wampus Cat was like known for running on its hind legs.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. Then again, I didn't know too many Wampus Cat things.
Yeah, me neither. I just heard of it.
Like I had heard it in passing, just like, oh, you better be careful in the woods. The Wampus Cat's gonna get you, and I'd be like, haha, kind of like whatever. They talk about like the corn tiger.
Yeah, corn tigers or the snipes.
Yeah, like I thought it was just kind of something like that.
Yeah, I always heard of it as being like a big cat creature, but never the humanoid aspects of it.
Yeah. Sync clap. 3, 2, 1. So then the Wampus Cat has even been sighted in large cities like Knoxville, Tennessee. In the early 2000s, a student enrolled at the University of Tennessee had just moved into her new apartment on campus at 16th and Cumberland Street. It was the first week of school, and she was looking out her window when she saw something that defies belief. At first, she thought she was looking at a human being. Then she realized it was a human-sized, cat-like being that was walking on its hind legs. The girl distinctly recalled that the beast had glowing, hypnotic eyes. She continued to watch the creature until it walked out of sight.
All right, now, assuming this is real and whatnot, that's horrifying, dude. Can you imagine just like chilling and there's this huge, like human-sized cat that just walks by?
I would maybe unenroll and enroll myself at a mental institution.
Yeah, right. Like that's insane. That'd be terrifying.
You can imagine you're a freshman in college, and you're like living on campus, so you already got the nerves kind of up.
Yeah.
And then you see a walking human-sized cat.
Yeah, kinda.
And I'd be like, nope, I'm done.
Maybe college isn't for me.
Yeah, this has broken me.
Yeah.
All right.
This has broken me.
I'm done. And then for our last story, we're going to North Florida.
Okay.
One night in northern Florida during a late winter or early spring in 2007, a hunter named Dean Morris was out with his hunting dogs, apparently with intentions of doing some poaching. Suddenly, the dogs began to whine and ran off into the woods in a hurry, leaving their master all alone on the game trail. Morris then said that he smelled a nasty smell like a wet dog that had come upon a polecat. Then he heard a loud hiss behind him. Turning around, Morris found himself face to face with the Wampus Cat. The beast's eyes glowed an eerie orange color in the darkness, while its fangs were exposed and dripped with saliva. Morris recalled that the monster looked kind of like a really big Florida panther, but it walked on two legs like a man.
Wow, lots of two legs.
Needless to say, yeah, lots of two legs. Needless to say, the would-be hunter had never seen anything like this before. Morris was now frightened out of his mind while his heart pounded in his chest. The monster sneered at him, causing him to feel nauseous and making his hair stand up. Without thinking, he dropped his gun. Then Morris bolted from the creature in a blind panic. It didn't take the poacher long to realize that the cat creature, whatever it may have been, was in hot pursuit of him.
Wow.
The hunter eventually came upon an abandoned pump house that didn't have any windows. Morris burst through the door and barred it behind him. As the man struggled to catch his breath, he realized that he could still hear the creature as it panted and paced outside of the door. At this point, Morris knew two things: that the beast was outside and very hungry, and that he could very well die that night at the claws of the monster. Throughout the night, the Wampus Cat would begin to claw at the door and make it shake nearly off its hinges. But the old door stood strong against the monster, and thus Morris spent a sleepless night, horrified that the old door would give way to the sheer strength of the monster. But eventually, after waiting what seemed like forever, the first rays of dawn crept over the trees and through the cracks in the roof. With the advent of the new day, the Wampus Cat let out a final horrific scream of frustration and ran back into the woods. Morris could hear the creature as it retreated from the light of day. His ordeal was finally over. On a happier note, Morris was finally able to make it home, where he found his dogs on the front porch under a table. The animals were shaking, but otherwise unhurt.
Nice. So there's another one where it's all a guy's all holed up in a cabin, or I guess a pump house in this regard, but
that one sounds eerily similar to the Jinx Johnson one.
it does sound real similar to the Jinx Johnson. Is Jinx Johnson was he coon hunting or was he a poacher?
Maybe poaching coons.
Oh, he didn't get his coon
I
tags,
don't know. I don't know. Back then, there probably was no pooching.
Pooching.
Nope, no pooching.
You could have pooched your coons.
But yeah, back then there's probably no poaching. They probably didn't have too many game laws.
Yeah.
You know.
But
if he was on his own property.
Once again, though, assuming this is a real story, horrifying, dude.
If this is a real story, that thing would have caught up to him.
Yeah,
if it was a big, strong cat thing, it would have got him. Come on, you're not outrunning that.
Yeah, like a regular house cat's gonna be faster than you are. Now imagine that, but like giant. You're done for.
Yeah, with the same size as you.
Yeah.
And probably more muscular.
Yeah, you're done for.
Like, you know, like bears run like 35 miles per hour.
Now imagine a lean bear.
Yeah, a lean bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think this guy would have made it out alive.
No.
But if he somehow did, that would be terrible.
Yeah, right.
That thing just clawing at it and shaking the door all night long.
Never go in the outdoors again.
Yeah, I'd
move to like New York City. Yeah.
Yep. I'd be like, all right, I never want to see a tree again in my life. You know, maybe that was his punishment for poaching. So
yeah.
If you're listening out there and you're thinking about doing some poaching, especially in Appalachia, Wampus Cat gonna get you.
Yeah.
So
if you think about doing some poaching, give me a call.
Yeah, give me a call. No, no. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, I'll cut that. That's a joke. We buy tags in this family.
Yes. Yeah, that if it's true, I think that one takes the cake for scariest one of the day. Because, I mean, you had the hind legs, you had the eyes, you had the fangs of the saliva. You got chased down. He didn't just make it home and, you know, start reading scripture and it, like, stops trying to attack him. That thing was just pounding the door all night long. Just like the sheer endurance of fear that this guy had to go through.
Yeah.
Yikes. All right, so let's get into some potential explanations of the Wampus Cat.
Can you do it one more time, but granny style? Okay, sorry. All right, no, you're good. You can just go
first off, let's get into some explanations of the Wampus Cat.
Well done.
We'll go.
Least fun to most fun.
No, we're gonna go. Probably pretty likely, then fun, then most likely.
Okay.
Maybe. We'll see. So the first explanation is probably that it's just a spooky story to get kids to come home from, before dark.
Makes sense.
Appalachia's a pretty dangerous place if you're just running out there in the woods at nighttime.
Yeah.
Like especially like East Kentucky, there's just like sheer drop-offs. Over there in like the gorge and stuff. I mean, there's people that die every year at the gorge because they're like camping, they've been drinking,
holes and all that jazz. So, yeah.
Yeah, and they'll just be going to use the bathroom, and hop out of their tent, forget that they're on like a cliff, and just whoop, gone. So I feel like quite a bit of it is just like, don't go out, like be home before 9, because if you're out there, then the Wampus Cat will get you, because there's bears and everything. There's a lot of dangerous stuff in the woods, or even spookier Appalachian stuff that could potentially get you that you don't want to explain to your kids, so you don't call it the Wampus Cat.
Yeah.
Next up, apparently there's an urban legend version of the Wampus Cat that's specific to Alabama that says that the Wampus Cats were created in a secret government program.
Oh wow, like the Goat Man.
Yeah. The story goes that there was a World War II era program aimed to create a fast, courageous animal that could be used as messengers in war zones. In a remote place in Alabama, government scientists made a creature that was part mountain lion, part gray wolf. How that was allegedly accomplished in the 1940s and it wouldn't even be possible today is anybody's guess. But according to the legend, some of these hypothetical animals escaped the facility and established themselves in the environment.
Well, that's pretty rad. I don't buy that for half a second, but that's pretty rad.
Yeah, it's fun, but I don't think that's what's going on here.
I love the idea of these like creatures bounding throughout the war zone of World War II.
That'd be wild.
Yeah.
They're trying to get a message across enemy lines, and you see like a mountain lion just tearing it through.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the area between the trenches?
No man's land. Yeah.
Yeah, there's absolutely hauling it through there like a cheetah.
It's like, why are we having them send messages? Why don't we have them kill each other or kill the other guys?
Also, why didn't they do like a mountain lion and like a retriever? Why not something that, like we have domesticated?
Yeah, why a gray wolf? It's just a purely wild creature that's totally uncontrollable.
Yeah.
That's a bad idea.
Uh-huh. So, but what I'd probably say is the most likely thing for the Wampus Cat is probably going to be cougar sightings. Cougars got extirpated from a lot of Appalachia and from the southern United States, but they can still be around sometimes.
Yeah, there was one walking around Lexington, Kentucky a few years ago.
Yeah, they're kind of like male bears. Male cougars will just like kind of wander. Like male bears. I know more about bears than I do about big cats. With how it works with bears, is like if there's 2 cubs, 1 boy, 1 girl, the girl cub gets to establish a home range adjacent or overlapping her mom's, kind of like a Venn diagram. The male gets kicked to the curb.
Oh, wow.
So he'll just wander. Like whenever I worked for Kentucky Fish and Wildlife, we had a bear that left southeast Kentucky, went all the way out, and was just like, we had the GPS data, and it's just wandering like a weird line. It went all the way up to like Indiana, then down over into like Missouri, then over to Kansas, and then down into like Alabama for a little bit. And then once it got done, it just made a straight beeline.
Really? Right back?
A straight line back to southeast Kentucky, exactly where it's from.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like you can watch it, and like the entire time it's a squiggly line because he's trying to find mates, trying to find food, doesn't care where he's going. But then like the second that he decides he's done, whenever like it's zoomed out, you can still see the squiggles on the other lines. It's just a straight line.
Wow.
That goes back to it.
That
anyway,
is crazy. Is that
so
normal?
I believe it's a. Oh yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Like we would relocate bears, and like if they're like a really big problem bear, it wouldn't work because like you could relocate them like 2.5 hours north.
Yeah.
And if they didn't like it there, they just walk back. And you'd be like,
That's so
please
funny,
stop.
dude.
Yeah. But I think it's the same thing for big cats where like the males will just kind of go out and wander. We're not supposed to have cougars in Louisiana. I for sure saw one about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was mowing alongside a road. I look up. I was like, that looks really odd. And it was like this long thing, long but like thick. And then its tail comes around and it did like diagonal and went into U shape. I was like, oh, and it did a 180. Tail relaxed again. I saw it go diagonal, U shape. Because, I mean, nothing else has a cat's tail around here.
Yeah.
And, I mean, this thing was big. It was, with the tail, it was taking up most of this gravel road. And then it, like, the tail kind of went diagonal. It's back hunched, and then, like, a leap and a half. It was from the center of the road off to the side and in the woods and gone. It was for sure a big cat. And I'm one of those guys that's like, being in wildlife, whenever someone's like, I saw a big cat, most of the time it's like pretty hokey.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of hokey stories that you'll hear, but like they're out there. They'll travel through.
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't mean that they have to have a population where there's a bunch of them, but they could still be there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of Wampus Cat stories that we didn't get into today, because quite frankly, they're just pretty boring.
They just saw
they're like, I saw a really big cat. Okay.
Yes, there are really big cats in America.
Yeah, I would say most of the Wampus Cat stories can be explained by that. That doesn't explain the whole two-legged
Yeah.
I'm very puzzled on that. I'm not sure.
I'm going to add in my little Zachary extra explanation here. Dogman.
Maybe Dogman.
Yeah, maybe Wampus Cat's actually Dogman.
From Jinx's story, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, he was the full moon guy.
Mm-hmm. Jim Johnson's, yeah.
Yeah, Jim Johansson. Yeah, I'd say probably 95% of the time people are just talking about, like, they see a big cat in Appalachia, and they just call it a Wampus Cat.
Yeah.
I'd say that's probably just a cougar roaming through, or, you know, a lot of people aren't very good with wildlife IDs, so, you know, a bobcat is way bigger than a house cat.
Yeah.
And, like, whatever
big,
people are frightened, they tend to think things are bigger anyway, so they could be like, oh, well, that's, you know, a Wampus Cat, you know, just because it's not, like, in their brain
yeah.
what they're saying. I'd probably say, like, majority of the Wampus Cat things is just a cougar sighting, or maybe somebody mis-IDing, but that does not explain the two-legged thing.
No, yeah.
So,
we got a half explanation for this one. Majority of them this, but some of them unexplained. So that's pretty cool.
I am definitely not sure.
Wow. That's pretty cool. We have one that's not totally cut and dry.
Neither was Jersey Devil.
Yeah, that's true. Because there was something that happened back in like the early 1800s.
Yeah, the 1909 stories.
1909, that's what it was.
Where like that week, there was like 200 sightings.
Yeah, like they saw something abnormal. But all right.
Anyway, yeah.
Pretty cool. I learned a lot about the Wampus Cat today. I realized I didn't know anything about it before. I just knew it was a large cat of some kind.
Yeah, I would say if you really had to break it down, like most of the time, it's just kind of a fun story or a way to spook kids or get them to listen. Oh, the Wampus Cat will get you. And then the other little bit of times, it's a actual cougar sighting, but people just don't register it as being a cougar because they're not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And then the whole walking on hind legs, no idea.
Yeah.
Could be a dog man, could be total fabrication, but I don't know why, like, that one person, like, the story of the girl in Knoxville, that story was told by her boyfriend, not by her. And, like, she wanted her name left out of it. So like she wasn't trying to gain anything by
Yeah.
saying that she saw a walking
But
human cat.
devil's advocate, the boyfriend could have been trying to gain something by
Yeah, maybe.
making up a story. It's like, I didn't see it, but my girlfriend did. She lives in Canada.
Yeah. She goes to a different school.
Yeah.
She sees a different Wampus Cat. Anyway, that'll just about do us for this week. If you guys have any of your own spooky stories of seeing a cryptid, have tales of a cryptid, or have a cryptid that you want us to discuss, then get in touch with us at our email.
No, legends@woolstein.media. Which will be in the description.
Yes. Check the description or check our social medias at Legends and Loggers. Send us a DM or a comment or something like that. Other than that, thanks for watching. Have a great week.
Yeah.
And stay wild.
Yeah, and live life legendary.